WABC New York, WRCR Haverstraw, and 107.1 WLIR Hampton Bays.
It's the 77 WABC News Hour.
Talking the news with Noah Layden.
All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now,
Talking the news with Noah
on 77 WABC.
Yes, that's me. Good morning. It is Monday, July 27th. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. Sun and clouds this morning. Could see some pop-up thunderstorms this afternoon. Going to be humid all day. The high 83. Tonight and overnight, partly cloudy, low 72. And then Tuesday, we'll have clouds in the morning, rain in the afternoon, high 79. If you are walking out the door with us right now, 68 and clear in Hempstead out on Long Island. It's 65 and clear in West Milford over in New Jersey. And it's 63 and clear right outside our Midtown studios.
This is the Top 5 at 5.
Cops cower the man they say killed a Bronx 12-year-old. Bullets fly at a street fair in Seattle. Mayor Mamdani feeling the heat from the Jewish community. A wild scene when a stunt goes wrong at a local circus. And wait, what did the kids have at snack time at a New Jersey Y camp? And let me throw a sixth one in there today. Sidney Ferris Rosenberg goes viral all weekend. All right, let's get into it at 5:04. Police say they have cuffed the gunman wanted in a shooting in the Bronx on Saturday. Took the life of a 12-year-old boy who was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Jacob Freitas was hit and killed by a stray bullet. 45-year-old William Ferrer, he was taken into custody outside of his home in the Bronx yesterday. He's facing several charges, including murder in the second degree. So Jacob, this 12-year-old, was riding his bike to a local bodega in the Mount Eden section of the Bronx Saturday to buy a ball when a bullet meant for somebody else hit him. A fight had broken out outside the bodega. Someone had pulled out a gun, started firing, and one of those bullets hit the 12-year-old. His neighbors, well, they're heartbroken.
I love him so much. Whatever happened to me, it's not fair with the guns out here and the gangs out here.
They just riding their bikes, minding their business. It's really heartbreaking.
It's a tragedy. He was an innocent little kid. He's not from the streets.
Yeah, surveillance video shows a group of men engaged in a fist fight in the street. This was about 5 in the afternoon, corner of Walton Avenue and Elliott's Place. The boy can be seen coming up on his bicycle on the sidewalk right next to the fight. And then more video that we saw last night shows the boy running inside the bodega past a deli worker and a customer while holding his chest or arm before he just collapses.
You said he was helpful?
Very helpful.
What did he do?
Like, he will help, like, the older people. He will go and say, he will help people.
We used to go outside, play with the bikes. I's a very nice kid, a very good kid. He has very nice spirits. He always told me he wanted to be in the NBA.
Freitas' father, he was retired from the NYPD. Mayor Mamdani speaking out over the weekend about this shooting.
Our hearts are broken right now. We're only a few blocks away from Elliott Place, which is where Jacob Freitas was killed. A 12-year-old boy killed just sitting on a bike outside of a bodega.
Yeah, there was a vigil last night for the boy. Friends and neighbors left condolences for Freitas. Some of his favorite things were surrounded by memorial candles and expressions of love. WABC News Time 5:09. Let's go out to Seattle, where there was a street fair going on yesterday. 2 gunmen started firing at each other, and in the process, they killed 3 people, injured 4 others. It was right outside of Seattle's Space Needle. This was last night.
One of the victims at Harborview Medical Center did not survive their injuries, so now we have a total of 3 fatalities out of those 7 victims.
Yeah, so shots rang out during what is called the Bite of Seattle Festival. The youngest of the victims is 2 years old. No word on his condition. The Seattle mayor, her name is Katie Wilson, she says a gunman was taken into custody and they're still looking for a second one.
Officers responded and addressed one of the shooters. That person gave up and was taken into custody. There was another person that we believe that was also involved that fled the scene, and officers began an active search for that person.
So this is what we got from the Seattle Police Department this morning. They say the incident appears to be an exchange of gunfire between 2 individuals rather than a premeditated attack targeting festival attendees, and they say nobody's in danger now. They don't tell us why that is, because they say one of the gunmen still on the loose this morning. 5:10. So just the news is just awful this morning, but this is what we're doing. 8 dead in a Michigan house fire that authorities are calling suspicious. In fact, they say it was suspicious. Captain Jake Sparks with the Ottawa County Sheriff's Office says 6 children, 2 adults, all of the same family, found dead inside a home that caught fire in the town of Grand Haven. This was Friday into Saturday.
It's too early for me to say that it's a murder-suicide. I can tell you that that's one theory that we have, and we're still looking to see if we can verify that.
Yeah, it sure looks like a murder-suicide because the sheriff's office says some of the victims had gunshot wounds. The cause of the fire, they're still trying to figure that out.
We're being assisted by the Michigan State Police arson investigators to see if it was intentionally set. We don't have cause of death at this point. I don't know. I don't have 100% identification at this point. I can tell you that 2 adults and 6 children are deceased. We're pending further investigation and full autopsy results.
Yeah, so Captain Jake Sparks there with the Ottawa County Sheriff's Office says, well, it appears to be a murder scene or a murder-suicide. They say they're still in the early stages of sorting it all out. 5:11, let's go out to Southern California, where a synagogue that was destroyed in the Eaton fire back in 2025 has been vandalized for the second time in a year. Anti-Semitic graffiti found written on a mural at the Pasadena Jewish Temple and Center had just been painted by children a couple months back. The mural had been created in response to an earlier graffiti incident at the same synagogue back in January. Here's the rabbi of that synagogue.
This mural was created not only as a response to a previous incident of anti-Semitism, vandalism that happened right here, but it was also meant to be an expression of our solidarity with the Altadena community. The
Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department has begun a hate crime investigation.
Anger that someone would choose to deface our house of worship, disgust that someone would think it's appropriate or okay to vandalize our communal home. A little bit of exhaustion that this is happening yet again.
Congregants driving past the property discovered multiple spray-painted swastikas and anti-Zionist messages, including the phrase, "Zionism is not welcome here." That was scrawled over the kids' artwork. Marks the second time that artwork on that site has been targeted in the past year. 5:12, affordability becoming more of an issue for Americans as they deal with higher costs from everything to gas to groceries. News Nation's Marcus Espinoza has more.
Everyday items like your produce, your dairy, and meat could become even more expensive in the weeks ahead. The driver behind those higher costs really is energy. Brent crude briefly climbed above $100 a barrel this week before dipping back down below that mark on reports of possible diplomatic talks. The price remains well below the peaks reached during the Russia-Ukraine war in 2022. The national average for gas has climbed back above $4 a gallon, reversing the relief drivers saw after June's U.S.-Iran ceasefire.
Now, President Trump plans to talk about affordability during an economic speech at a GM plant in Michigan this afternoon. And then you have the House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries taking to the news shows over the weekend. He kicked off 100 days until the November midterms. He was in Pennsylvania yesterday. He unveiled the party's what he calls Fighting for an Affordable America agenda. He says Democrats are focusing on restoring health care cuts and bringing the cost of living down.
We have just 100 days until the midterm elections. 100 days to change direction in this country. This is no longer a marathon. It's a sprint.
Now, Pennsylvania's 7th district, that's the Lehigh Valley. That's where he was yesterday. That's a key battleground district which could impact the balance of power in Congress come November. 5:14, let's go overseas. President Trump says he hasn't made up his mind about restarting major warfare in Iran. He was asked by reporters about his comments that he's considering a massive attack on Iran that would be bigger than the strikes that were conducted during Operation Epic Fury.
There's two ways. I mean, it's
you can just keep doing exactly what we're doing and take them apart piece by piece. We can do it in a more rapid fashion, which we might do, or we can negotiate with them, which we're also doing right now. I mean, as we speak, we're talking to them.
Yeah, so he says that they are talking to Iran through intermediaries, and that there seem to be, anyway, the Iranians serious about negotiating.
Well, I don't know that they're enabling. I mean, I will tell you that President Xi said he will not partake, and President Putin said the same thing. I think, I trust them. They do want to make a deal. Sometimes they don't want to say they want to make a deal. They want to be the tough guys.
And Israeli Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu, he is here as he gets ready to meet with the president this week at the White House. We'll hear from the Prime Minister and give you the latest on what happened overnight in the war in just a moment. But first, 5:15, let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk. Happy Monday. Good morning, Justin Ellick.
Happy Monday. Good morning to you, Noam Allen. We start out here in Queens. Tyrone Taylor put the Mets ahead with a 3-run homer in the 6th inning. Marcus Semien added a 3-run drive in the 7th, and New York beat the LA Dodgers 8-3 to prevent a season sweep. Starter Freddie Peralta allowed 3 runs, 2 earned, and 6 hits over 4 innings in what could end up being his final start for New York. Peralta also can become a free agent following the end of the season this year, but he is expected to get moved sometime within the next 8 days as part of a significant sell-off by the last-place Mets at the trading deadline. New York ended a 5-game home losing streak and won for the 4th time in its last 16 games at Citi Field. The Mets finished 1-5 against the Dodgers to avoid getting swept in the season series for the 2nd time in team history. Up next for the Mets, rookie righty Zach Thornton opposes the lefty, I should say, Martin Perez in the opener of a 3-game series at home against the Atlanta Braves tonight. First pitch from Citi Field is scheduled for 7:10 p.m. Out in Philadelphia, the Yankees fell 11-4 to the Phillies in the finale of a 3-game series, still taking 2 of 3 from Philly over the weekend. Ben Rice homered and doubled for New York. Before the game, the Yankees placed All-Star outfielder Cody Bellinger on the 10-day IL with a left hamstring strain. New York also still without injured slugger Aaron Judge, struck out 13 times yesterday. Up next for the Yankees, now 3 games back at Tampa Bay for first place in the East. They'll open a 4-game series in Chicago tonight against the White Sox. Max Fried will get the start against Noah Schultz in what will be a 7:40 p.m. first pitch from Chicago. Also yesterday, Andrew Jones, Carlos Beltran, and Jeff Kent accepted baseball's highest honor during the Hall of Fame's annual induction ceremony on the grounds outside of the Clark Sports Center in Cooperstown, New York. Beltran, the 6th player raised in Puerto Rico to earn a spot in the Hall of Fame, drew perhaps the largest contingent of fans, with the support of both Mets fans and those from back home in PR. He chose to go into the hall representing the Mets, of course, saying, quote, "New York shaped my life. It was here where I experienced my greatest success and some of my greatest challenges. Playing for the Mets made me a better man and a better leader." It'd be cool to have that Mets-donned Carlos Beltran bust now out in Cooperstown at the Baseball Hall of Fame. It's a great place to be. Ever been to Cooperstown, Nolan?
I have not. No, I've never have.
You got to get your kids together. You got to go. You got to get out there. It's great.
I have been to the Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio.
That I have not been.
That is great, by the way.
Yeah, that I got to get to. But
and the Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield, I've been there as well.
That's
also
awesome. So you have me beat.
Yeah, so I need to get to baseball.
Yeah, it's really it's a great day. I mean, there's nothing else to do in Cooperstown, New York. So
that's the same thing with Canton and Springfield, by the way.
You go out there, you spend the day, and you spend the night, and then you get out of there in the morning. It's really a great time. And of course, tomorrow, the New York Jets and the Giants officially open training camp. That is your Sports Noam, and I'm Justin Ellick on 77 WABC.
WABC News Time 5:20. Israeli Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu warning Iran against attacking Israel. He was on Fox News yesterday. He vowed that Israel's response would be very forceful if Iran attacks again.
If Iran attacks Israel, either directly or through proxies, either with ballistic missiles or UAVs or killer drones, it will make a terrible mistake.
It comes as Netanyahu set to visit the White House this week as President Trump weighs his military options in Iran. Tuesday's meeting will mark the first face-to-face talks between Israel and the U.S. since the Iran conflict began back in late February.
Our response, Israel's response, will be very, very forceful.
Now, the U.S. has continued to hold off on its attacks against Iran, so it's 2 nights in a row where nothing's happened between Iran and the U.S. after 2 weeks of bombing. President Trump has dismissed reports that the military is running low on ammunition, saying the U.S. stockpiles are vast and exceed what is needed. Tehran, Washington, exchanging messages through intermediaries despite the U.S. previously, this is the foreign minister saying, despite the U.S. previously betraying negotiations, that according to Iran. So at least they're talking, so I guess potentially that's a positive sign. 521 on the news show yesterday, Maryland Democrat Senator Chris Van Hollen, he was taking aim at the White House and this potential nuclear deal with Saudi Arabia. He appeared on ABC's This Week, Maryland Democrat accusing the president of hitting Saudi Arabia with a bait and switch by changing the terms of that deal midway through.
Martha, it's complete whiplash for the Saudis. I mean, it just shows you cannot rely on the United States. You certainly can't count on the Trump administration.
Now, an agreement had been reached on a nuclear deal that allows the kingdom to use American technology to build nuclear reactors. However, the president says the final approval of that deal is conditioned on Saudi Arabia joining the Abraham Accords to help normalize relations with Israel. By the way, this deal, no different than what the Biden administration wanted, but it fell apart after the October 7th attacks, and that's why you're only hearing about it again now. President Trump highlighting the importance of holding the rescheduled White House Correspondents' Dinner over the weekend. This was at the Waldorf Astoria. The president said we can't back down from the threat of political violence.
But tonight we come back together to answer that heinous attack with unwavering resolve.
You'll remember the first event back in April was interrupted when a gunman allegedly tried to assassinate the president and other White House officials. Before he spoke, several reporters won awards for stories that centered on the Trump administration, and the president just joked about it. I mean, they were given awards for their coverage of the White House, and some of the reporters the president has called out over the last couple years won awards right in front of him as he sat on the dais.
We settle our differences not with bullets, but with open and vigorous debate. And no deranged loser with a gun will ever change that. We can't let that ever happen.
The president commenting on the bravery of those who attended the first dinner.
And you did very well. I think we all did very well. It was a hell of an evening, I can tell you that. Won't soon be forgotten.
So this event honored the Secret Service police officer, Victor Gonzalez, who was pivotal in stopping that gunman in the assassination attempt on Trump's life back in April. 524, Texas Governor Greg Abbott taking a helicopter tour of LaSalle County, where rain-soaked rivers led to massive flooding last week.
Once you're above the Nueces, that water is everywhere.
Now, there are 3 deaths in the area which are linked to the flooding. The Nueces River peaked, but the governor warned it could take days for that area to dry out.
We saw destruction to homes. We saw destruction to infrastructure. We also saw signs of people and communities already embarking upon the rebuilding process.
524, the White House border czar says ICE officers logged a record number of arrests last month, and they're not stopping. News Nation's Allie Bradley has the highlights from Tom Homan's exclusive interview with Katie Pavlich.
The border czar, Tom Homan, touting record enforcement numbers while also addressing the demands on ICE right now and also the concerns over the recent deadly officer-involved shootings. When he was having a discussion with Katie Pavlich, he said that ICE is operating at full speed after months of federal funding delays. The DHS data shows that there are nearly 66,000 people currently in ICE detention. More than 43,000 were booked into ICE detention in June.
Yeah, so June had the highest monthly total of ICE arrests since President Trump returned to the White House. 525, answers and accountability. That's what parents in a Southern California community demanding after a cluster of cases of a rare form of pediatric cancer have appeared. Hundreds of people packing a community center in Ladera Ranch, that's in Orange County, to discuss the cases. Over the past decade, nearly a dozen local children have been diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma, and 2 young people have died. Brian Dalton's 23-year-old daughter, Lily, died back in January.
I don't want another mother holding her child's hand through endless treatments, praying for one more birthday. I don't want another family planning a funeral instead of a future.
Yeah, the cancer starts in the bone or soft tissue, typically affects about 200 kids nationwide. Investigations underway to determine the source of the cancer, the use of herbicides and pesticides. They are suspected as possible causes. 526, Carlos Beltran, as you heard, Jeff Kent, among those inducted in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Kent spoke during the ceremony in Cooperstown yesterday.
Baseball was here long before me. It's going to be long after I sit back down. But standing up here with these guys sitting behind me, I've never felt more humbled and more grateful in my entire life.
Yeah, Carlos Beltran giving thanks to his children during the speech he gave.
There's another team that I want to have the opportunity to say a few words. My children, Ivana, Kiara, Evan Carlos. Being your father has been the greatest honor of my life. Baseball has given me an incredible career, but you guys always give me reason to be a better man.
Some of the nice moments from the induction yesterday.
Thanks for listening to the News Hour with Noam Laden. You can hear the News Hour with Noam Laden weekday mornings at 5 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode, so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here? WABC.
It's the 77 WABC News Hour. Talking the news with Noam Laden. All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now, Talking the News with Noam on 77 WABC.
Yes, that's me. Good morning. It is Monday, July 27th. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. Sun and clouds this morning. Could see some pop-up thunderstorms this afternoon. Going to be humid all day. The high 83. Tonight and overnight, partly cloudy, low 72. And then Tuesday, going to have some clouds in the morning, rain in the afternoon, high 79. If you are walking out the door with us right now, so happy you are, 68 and clear in Hempstead out on Long Island. It's 65 and clear in West Milford over in New Jersey. And it's 63 and clear right outside our Midtown studios. WABC News Time 540, the NYPD looking for two women suspected of killing a man in a road rage attack that took place in Queens. This was about 1 a.m. Sunday morning on the Belt Parkway, right near Farmers Boulevard, where neighbors say people drive just crazy all over the place.
That is crazy. Probably a mental problem. I saw a lot of traffic, and all the traffic was coming on to the conduit.
All right, so what police are telling us is it started off as a fender bender, then escalated into a dispute. That's when the two women apparently beat 47-year-old Chrisane Dockery repeatedly on the head with a baseball bat. He was taken to the hospital where he passed away early Sunday.
If you look at Citizen app, you have a lot of incidents in the area every night.
All the time, like doesn't matter morning, evening, early morning, all the time. The traffic is like this.
And now a 39-year-old man who was with the victim, he suffered minor injuries. The two women, well, they took off in a Honda Civic, has not been seen since.
When you take the road, you should be, I would say, much more careful, because you never know the reaction of anyone. Of just when you cross anyone on the highway, sometimes people don't like it.
Yeah, that's true. That's why road rage is never really a great idea. Several families of 9/11 victims starting a petition now to have Mayor Mamdani banned from the ceremony marking the 25th anniversary of the attacks. Organizers accuse the mayor of supporting groups and individuals who've been critical of America and being sympathetic towards radical views. The petition was started by Giovanni Galante, whose 29-year-old wife, Grace, was killed during the terror attack at Ground Zero. A spokesperson for City Hall says Mamdani still plans to attend the ceremony to stand with the victims. And that taking place as it was maybe a long weekend for the mayor. Neighbors on the Upper West Side voicing their anger during a rally yesterday that was organized after the stabbings of a Jewish man and an Asian man, as the suspect there faces hate crime charges. Several speakers at this rally said the mayor bears responsibility, pointing to him, saying that he has been over the top with his accusations against Bibi Netanyahu in Israel. And they say that's what led to the stabbing in Central Park last week. Now, among the speakers yesterday were Republican gubernatorial nominee and Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman.
There has been a darkness that has permeated over this city since January 1st. A darkness by the leadership or the lack of leadership of Mayor Mamdani.
Now, Mamdani, who was taking part in a parade yesterday, he again was asked about these stabbings. He again condemned them.
I think when it comes to the horrific stabbings on the Upper West Side, my thoughts first and foremost are with both the Asian New Yorker and the Jewish New Yorker who were stabbed. I'm thankful that they are in a stable condition, and I'm wishing them a full and speedy recovery. And I'm also thankful to the NYPD for their quick and swift response to both apprehending the alleged perpetrator, Raul Morales, and now I've seen the charges that have been levied against him of attempted murder and a hate crime, and I'm hopeful that he will be prosecuted for the full extent of the law.
Now, one reporter at the scene said, I got a follow-up question. The Jewish community is not really happy with you right now. What do you think about that?
What do you say to Jewish New Yorkers who feel you're fueling anti-Semitism?
I would say first and foremost is there's no tolerance for anti-Semitism in this city. We have to root out anti-Semitism from across the 5 boroughs, and that's because this is a city that is one that has no room for hate or bigotry of any kind. And when we make criticisms of a nation state or policies, we have to remember that those are criticisms of exactly that. Never of a people, never of a faith.
Yeah, then you had Israeli Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu, who was going to be here for a meeting at the White House tomorrow with the president about the war in Iran. And he was asked about Mayor Mamdani. And he says that Mayor Mamdani has been fomenting hate. This with him going, the mayor's gone strong after Bibi Netanyahu, claiming that he wanted to arrest him until he realized that he wasn't able to do so. Here was Netanyahu speaking about this yesterday.
He's supposed to be the mayor of all New Yorkers, Jews, Christians, Muslims, everyone. But he's trying to turn one group against the other, and he's foisting hate and fear. I speak to Jewish Americans in New York, and they're afraid right now. And I don't think it's accidental that after he made this hate speech against Israel and against me, the next day, a Jew is stabbed coming out of a synagogue.
The prime minister says, by the way, that he intends to attend the UN General Assembly in New York. That's when the mayor wanted to have him arrested. He says not going to happen. He's not worried. He's coming.
I've appeared just about every year, not every year, but almost every year in my prime ministership, unless there are security conditions. But barring that, and I don't expect that to be the case this time, yes, I do intend to come to New York.
Yeah, the Prime Minister Netanyahu is saying that Mamdani based his claims on bogus criminal charges and accuses the mayor of promoting hate and fear in New York City. In a moment, we'll head out to a Y camp in New Jersey where the kids got a snack they probably shouldn't have. We'll get to that story in just a moment. But first, 5:45, let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk. And here's Justin Ellick.
Thank you, Noah Maladen. Sports sponsored by Pete Morgan at Peerless Spoilers. Go to peerlessboilers.com to find a deal near you. Peerless Spoilers, the world's best built of boilers. Will start out in Queens. Tyrone Taylor put the Mets ahead with a 3-run homer in the 6th. Marcus Semien added a 3-run drive in the 7th. And New York beat the LA Dodgers 8-3 to prevent a season sweep. Starter Freddie Peralta allowed 3 runs, 2 earned at 6 hits over 4 innings in what could end up being his final start for New York's free agent at the end of the year, but more than likely will be moved within the next 8 days as part of a significant sell-off by the last-place Mets ahead of the trade deadline. New York ended a 5-game home losing streak and won for the 4th time in its last 16 games at Citi Field. They finished 1-5 against the Dodgers this season. Up next for him, rookie righty Zach Thornton opposes Martin Perez in the opener of a 3-game series at home against the Atlanta Braves tonight. First pitch from Citi Field scheduled for 7:10. In Philadelphia, the Yankees fell 11-4 to the Phillies in the finale of a 3-game series, still taking 2 of 3 from Philly over the weekend. Ben Rice homered and doubled for New York. And before the game, the Yankees placed all-star outfielder Cody Bellinger on the 10-day IL with a left hamstring strain, and you saw his absence being felt out there in left field. A couple of misplays throughout the course of yesterday's game. New York also still without injured slugger Aaron Judge, struck out 13 times. Up next for the Yanks, now 3 games back at Tampa Bay for first place in the East. They'll open a 4-game series in Chicago tonight against the White Sox. Max Fried will get the start against Noah Schultz and will be a 7:40 p.m. first pitch from Chicago. Also yesterday, Andrew Jones, Carlos Beltran, and Jeff Kent accepted baseball's highest honor during the Hall of Fame's annual induction ceremony on the grounds outside of the Clark Sports Center in Cooperstown, New York. Beltran, the 6th player raised at Puerto Rico to earn a spot in the Hall of Fame, drew perhaps the largest contingent of fans over the weekend to support both Mets fans and those from back home in PR. He chose to go into the Hall representing our Mets, saying, quote, "New York shaped my life. It was here where I experienced my greatest success and some of my greatest challenges. Playing for the Mets made me a better man and a better leader." Congratulations goes out to the great Carlos Beltran.
When was the last time he played baseball? When did he retire, do you know?
I think he retired, it had to have been with the Astros, I guess, was his last stint, that whole cheating scandal and whatever it was. So I would have to say 2018, 2017, 2018, somewhere around there.
So it didn't take long at all for him to get into the Hall then?
No, not at all. I think it's he's second ballot, maybe third ballot.
That's good.
Yeah, it's great. Carlos Beltran, great center fielder. So, and the New York Jets and the Giants will officially open training camp tomorrow as well. It's your news coming out of the NFL. That is your Sports Noam, sponsored by Pete Morgan at Peerless Boilers. Go to peerlessboilers.com to find a deal near you. Peerless Boilers, the world's best-built boilers. I'm Justin Ellick on 77 WABC.
WABC News Time 5:49. Let's go out to Long Island, where they continue to have these problems with illegal street takeovers, where a bunch of people on ATVs, dirt bikes, motorcycles just take over entire highways. Well, over the weekend, 3 people arrested, 10 vehicles impounded after the Suffolk County Police started cracking down on some of these illegal street takeovers. An estimated 200 ATVs, dirt bikes, and motorcycles. They stretched across several Suffolk communities. That's how big these things are. They did get 911 calls, the police did. This was about 4:30 in the afternoon on Saturday about riders doing stunts and driving recklessly along Route 347 and Hop Hog.
I think, it's getting out of hand.
I think there should be a park somewhere. If they want to drive dirt bikes or four-wheelers, they should be driving it there, not on the public streets.
Well, yeah. When officers responded, they arrested 2 riders, impounded several vehicles before the group dispersed, and then they regrouped, this group did, near the Motor Parkway and Express Drive in Brentwood. And there's still a couple hundred of these guys on the roadway about 6:30 Saturday night.
Definitely get them off the street. They're not worrying about the people, children, pets, everything that's out there. I think it's horrible.
Yeah, so as the group traveled through Bay Shore, police say 2 ATVs became disabled. The riders abandoned those vehicles, fled on foot. One of those riders, a 22-year-old, apprehended after officers allegedly discovered he was also carrying a loaded handgun. Wasn't that nice?
But I see him in my neighborhood, and I see him in other neighborhoods driving through different towns. It's dangerous for both the people and the drivers.
Yeah, and, the middle of the day makes it even worse. Not that it's good any time of day. Police arrested a 23-year-old and a 29-year-old over the weekend. Both are charged with reckless driving, reckless endangerment, a whole bunch of other charges. It was just last Friday that 9 people were arrested, 12 vehicles impounded following an illegal racing and street takeover event that took place in Farmingdale. 5:41, let's go up to Orange County, where there was just kind of a crazy moment over the weekend. So they had the circus in town at the Orange County Fair, and they were doing one of these performances under the big tent with arrows, bow and arrows, something they've done, I guess, probably hundreds, maybe thousands of times before. It is this crew of performers from Wisconsin. I think they're a husband and wife team. I'm not 100% positive about that. But this is a thing where they fire arrows sort of in each other's direction, and they do kind of funky stuff with those arrows. Well, one of the arrows did what it wasn't supposed to do. It sent one of these performers to the hospital.
Well, last night, unfortunately, when she shot the crossbow, it caught him in his neck. The good news is she caught him right at the very corner of the neck. There was no blood.
Yeah, so he's okay, but this happened right smack in the middle of a performance. There's lots of kids there. So the ringmaster said, well, I better get everybody out of here while the paramedics come in.
Once that happened and we realized we can't go on with the show, we just told everyone we need them to, exit the big top because we had the paramedics coming.
Yeah, so audience were ushered out of the tent. Paramedics rushed in to administer aid. They were able to surgically remove the arrow from this guy's neck. The circus releasing a statement this morning saying that the performer, Cuervo Rangel, is in stable condition and they're grateful for the support he received on the scene. And they say he's expected to be released soon. And he says, yeah, I'm going to be back performing under the big tent as soon as I get the green light from doctors. 5:53, we are getting more information on this story that happened at the end of the week in New Jersey last week, where 13 children became sick after ingesting candy suspected to contain hallucinogenic mushrooms. This was at the Y camp in East Orange. So one mother speaking out over the weekend, she says that one of the kids at the camp brought candy for everybody to share with everybody. And she says that two of her 11-year-old sons were among the children who ate this candy and then, got sick.
Actually received a phone call from my son. He was crying hysterically. I didn't know what was going on. Then the EMT got on the phone, and they pretty much told me that my son has eaten a piece of candy that was infused with mushrooms.
Yeah, so counselors at this Y camp, at first they couldn't figure out what was going on. They observed a child handing out candy suspected to contain mushrooms. Of course, they didn't know that. And that, of course, causes hallucinations and confusion. They say 13 children in total were affected. That's a lot. He had parents who were showing up to pick their kids up and saying, what's going on here? The counselor's not paying attention, but it seems innocent. I mean, this kid was just giving candy out. He had no idea that it was laced.
By my sons, I was told that the little boy that brung it in got it as a birthday gift from his family member.
Yeah, apparently he was just there to share it. Parents now calling for a thorough investigation. They want to know what happened, how the candy made its way into camp.
That is insane.
The question is more so, how did a child get a hold of this? I mean, I'm pretty sure adults are around, so how did the child get this in their possession?
Him being introduced to this in a camp where I bring my child to every day, and I feel as though the camp is supposed to be a safe space, it's terrible.
Yes, so what they're being told by the East Orange police is they say their detectives are conducting a thorough investigation to determine exactly what occurred. It seems maybe a family member might have somehow either accidentally or purposely given it to this kid to share at camp. They'll get to the bottom of it. Doesn't seem like it's something that'll take a lot of investigating.
Thanks for listening to the News Hour with Noam Laden. You can hear the News Hour with Noam Laden weekday mornings at 5 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode, so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?